Oh, man. Man, could you just imagine if this actually went down? I'm assuming that you saw the title of this video, and I'm also assuming that you read the thumbnail. Or is it the other way around? You read the title, you saw the thumbnail. Yeah, that's how it is. Could we see Brock Boeser of the Vancouver Canucks get traded to the New York Rangers, reuniting him with JT Miller? Let's dive into Spectre's Hockey from 2 days ago on July 18th to read what Vincent Z. Mercogliano went out there and wrote about in The Athletic. Now, if you know the way Spectre's Hockey works, Lyle Richardson goes out there and compiles all the news, all the rumors, all the things that are posted about online, that are talked about on the radio, that are talked about on podcasts, etc., and compiles it all together in a very digestible and accessible article. So big shout out over to Lyle Richardson and Spectre's Hockey. Big shout out to Vincent C. Mercogliano, who posted this on The Athletic. It is behind a paywall. You can't go out there and read it unless you have The Athletic. It's not one of those gift articles that seems to be popping up in spades nowadays. But let's go out there and read what Mercogliano writes about, shall we? Obviously, Mercogliano, he is a New York Rangers-focused beat reporter for The Athletic, so he went out there and looked at several options for the New York Rangers to add another forward to their roster during the offseason. According to Mercogliano's sources, the Rangers poked around on Anthony Mantha, before he signed with the New Jersey Devils, and Eeli Tolvanen. Patrick Laine could see a one-year prove-it deal, but Drury's interest is unclear. Young trade targets could include Shane Wright of the Seattle Kraken, Kent Johnson of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Connor Zary of the Calgary Flames. Spectre's note goes out there and says the Kraken are currently entertaining trade offers for Wright, and it's believed the Flames are open to offers for Zary. There hasn't been much speculation about Johnson, but that doesn't mean the Blue Jackets will not entertain offers. Mercogliano did not rule out the Rangers adding a veteran forward who has ties to the club, such as Vancouver Canucks wingers Brock Boeser and Jake DeBrusk through JT Miller, and Pittsburgh Penguins winger Brian Rust through head coach Mike Sullivan. However, all those players are 29 or older, and each one carries a significant salary. Spectre's note says, my guess is that Drury prefers adding one of those younger forwards. They carry reasonable contracts and could be solid additions for years if they flourish in New York. Now screw the young guys, man. Let's talk about Brock Boeser. This is a match made in heaven for Brock and JT Miller, because darned if I'll be promoting the idea that players that play well together deserve to be brought back together. There's a reason Chris Kunitz is an Olympian, and it's not because he was an Olympic caliber player back in 2014. It was because, hey, this is the one and only guy who you could say fit the best alongside of Sidney Crosby. That's the reason Chris Kunitz ever became an Olympian, and it's why he has an Olympic gold medal today. He didn't even do much at that Olympic Games. He had a goal, but he was still a part of the team. Brock Boeser, I'm not saying that he's going to go out there and win any Olympic medals anytime soon. JT Miller already did that, by the way. Congrats to him and the Americans for their gold. But Brock Boeser had the best season of his NHL career in 2023-2024. 73 points in 81 games, 40 goals, 33 assists. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that JT Miller was like the perfect guy to play with him. Never mind the fact that they actually had success together with Elias Pettersson on the 649 line back in 2019. But once Brock and JT established themselves as that dynamic duo, it didn't matter who was their other winger. Niels Höglander, who cares? Who else was tossed around there? Garland was with Joshua. Teddy Bluger was the center on that line. Lafferty and McKayev were with Pettersson. I don't remember who was the other winger with Boeser and Miller back in the day. But I think that speaks volumes as to just how good that one individual pairing was. Pia Suter, I think, at a time was a part of that line, was he not? But either way, Brock Boeser is a guy who has really worked on his finishing game over the past few years. Say what you want about 22 goals in 75 games last year, 25 the year before that, but Brock Boeser is a guy who was only near 30 in the first year of his career, because for whatever reason, the 2017-18 version of Brock Boeser was just so cracked out at being able to just drive down the wing and snipe it from distance, beating every goaltender in the vicinity like it's nobody's business. This guy was an on-the-rush sniper that just figured out the NHL, and like 70% of the goals he scored in his rookie year were just beautiful snipes. As his career continued, though, Brock just did not have that same lethality nor effectiveness rate when shooting the puck in the same way, and he had to find other ways to be a productive hockey player. That included working on his defensive game. That included working on his playmaking. And by the time 23-24 rolled around, Brock was so confident in the way that he plays the game, he understands he no longer was that speedy guy. He was speedy for like the first 60 games of his NHL career, and then after the injury, it just didn't really feel the same. He was kind of slow, but he's good at winning board battles. He's good off the puck, and he's great when he doesn't have the puck, and he's circling the offensive zone looking for those open pockets of space. He had 40 goals in 81 games and 73 total points in 23-24, mostly because JT Miller is the perfect guy to set up Brock Boeser, to hold on to the puck, to draw all the attention to him before blistering a pass to the back door where Brock was right there, or chucking a puck towards the front of the net, hoping for a tip, and then Boeser would put in the garbage. JT Miller and Brock Boeser were so good together that Miller had a 100-point season and Brock had 40 goals. JT, very lethal playmaker at his best. And we even saw that when he was acquired by the New York Rangers in 2025. He was over a point per game to finish off that season with the Rangers. Sure, he dipped to 53 points in 68 games this most recent season. He was a minus 30. The Rangers stunk. Miller was the captain of what was a bad team, and a lot of people were really disappointed in the way that he played. But I'm sitting right here and I'm saying, hey, if we can talk about Elias Pettersson and Andrei Kuzmenko having that sort of a connection and rekindling their chemistry and being great again, there's no reason why we can't talk about Brock Boeser and JT Miller as doing the same thing. Now, the question is, would Brock actually be interested in waiving his trade protection to go over to New York? I feel like enticing him with a JT Miller reunion is a good enough pitch, but I also do know that Brock Boeser, we all know that this guy loves Vancouver. He wants to be a part of the rebuild. He wants to cultivate positive leadership traits in this environment. And I'm not saying that Brock has certain feelings one way or another about JT, but it does feel like Brock, at the very least, understands that what happened in the Vancouver locker room between JT Miller and Elias Pettersson was partially JT's fault, if not mostly JT's fault. I don't know. Vincent C. Mercogliano just went out there and brought Boeser up as a potential Rangers trade acquisition. So I wanted to go out there and speak about it. Just the idea of seeing Boeser with Miller and, I don't know, Lafreniere together, I feel like that'd be pretty good. That is, assuming Lafreniere sticks around in New York and he doesn't get traded to Vancouver for Brock Boeser. Ha ha ha. Do I want to curse y'all with that idea being floated out into the universe? I don't know. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments section as to whether or not Boeser and Lafreniere getting swapped in any sort of a move is worth it. But you can let me know in the comments, do you think Boeser is a worthwhile New York Rangers trade target? You need somebody to go out there and revitalize JT Miller and his point production. What better than the best winger he's ever played with to do that? And I say best winger, I mean Miller played with Panarin, right? But they weren't that great together, I feel. I don't know, JT doesn't really need a guy who possesses the puck and does all the work himself like Panarin does. He needs somebody that you make that last final pass to and is on the doorstep to bury the biscuit in the basket, like Brock Boeser. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is a worthwhile idea to explore for New York? What do you think a trade package would look like if Brock Boeser were to head over to the Rangers? I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.